2017 National Lacrosse League season, Buffalo Bandits hosting the Saskatchewan Rush. 10 months ago on the fateful night of June, it was hot in Saskatchewan, and with 2 seconds remaining, former Buffalo Bandit Jeff Cornwall scored the game-winning goal. Season over, hopes over for the Buffalo Bandits. Since then, it's been a rocky road. The Bandits 5-7 on the season. The Saskatchewan Rush 8-4. They are a very talented team. They are disciplined, and oh boy, are they good. But you know what? My broadcast partner Randy Mearns will agree. The Bandits are too. They're good. They're getting good, and they're peaking at the right time. And Randy, you couldn't have picked a better game tonight here in Buffalo for the Bandits to meet the Rush and to get on a run for the final 6 games of the season.
Well, you know, if you want to be considered the best, then you got to beat the best, Johnny. And Saskatchewan's tied for first in the whole National Lacrosse League at that 8-4 record. And again, you know, they have phenomenal players, right? You started off with the offensive guys and guys like Mark Matthews and Adam Jones. They got transition guys. They got phenomenal defensive guys and Captain Chris Corbeil and Kyle Rubish. Their goaltending solid. They have all the facets. But to your point, Johnny, so does the Buffalo Bandits. And I think that as Buffalo's evolved, you know, into this, you know, first 2/3 of the season, right? You had Dane Smith wasn't in the lineup. And then all of a sudden you had Ryan Benesh wasn't in the lineup. You know, and now I think all these guys are all back together. They've kind of started to figure out, okay, well, what's our roster going into this last 6? And I like the roster. Buffalo's got transition. They got the offensive talent. You know, they got the muckers and the grinders, the guys that'll go do the dirty work. And then at the end of the day, Anthony Cosmo seems to, it seems that he's starting to find himself. He's making those saves that he's supposed to. He's making some miraculous ones too. And, you know, so things bode well. The bottom line is they got to perform tonight. You can talk about it and talk about it and talk about it. Now you just got to go do it.
From downtown Buffalo at the KeyBank Center, where a crowd of 16,000 plus are expected. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our coverage of Bandits Lacrosse. I am John Gertler, along with my broadcast partner, Randy Mearns. The Bandits have been introduced as a team under the spotlights here at KeyBank Center, and now we are awaiting, which has been delayed, awaiting the Rush, who have now stepping out onto the turf, led by their goaltender, Aaron Bold. And he will be backed up tonight by a free agent practice squad player, Pete Dubinsky, as Tyler Carlson remains home in Saskatchewan with the birth of a child. So we hope everything's going well with Carlson. Pete Dubinsky will most likely not get into the lineup tonight because Aaron Bold is just one fine goaltender.
Absolutely. You know, I would imagine Bold's going to go the whole way. Again, defensive-wise, they really pack it in. They'll put pressure, and Aaron Bold makes the saves that he needs to.
Let's go down on the turf for the singing of the Canadian and U.S. national anthems.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
South Buffalo's own Kevin Kennedy tonight here at KeyBank Center with the Buffalo Bandits and Saskatchewan Rush. As we had mentioned in the opening of tonight's broadcast, yes, the rematch. 10 long months since that hot and sweaty night in Saskatoon where the Rush won their second consecutive NLL championship. Bandits, like the Rush at the beginning of the season, stumbled, losing their first two, but the Bandits continued to stumble, and they've wavered a little bit, wobbly wheels here and there. Coming into this evening's game with a 5-7 record, they are 3 games behind Georgia in action tonight. With an 8-4 record, Georgia is. Buffalo 5-7, Saskatchewan 8-4, and they lost last week. Actually, they went 1-1. They won against Calgary, and they lost against Colorado on Saturday night.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, JT brought up a good point in that pregame interview, Johnny. You know, when you bust that season in the thirds, hey, it wasn't the way they wanted to go right off the get-go. I believe they were 1-5. But, you know, at that last 6, they're 4-2. That's just another way to continue to build confidence. Guys, you know what? We're on a winning roll. The trend is going up. And that's a great fact that JT pointed out.
Down to the field we go for the opening face-off. Anthony Cosmo, .779 save percentage. Aaron Bold, .764 save percentage. Great to have you with us tonight on NLL TV and Twitter. The game of the week. And here come the Bandits with a shot on just to the left side of Aaron Bold. And that ricochets back out to midfield, and Jeremy Thompson, former Bandit, in over the line. He goes from the left wing side. Uses the turf to get it back out to midfield, while Derek Keenan, the head coach and general manager of the Rush, changed his lineup to put the offensive forwards out. And I'll tell you what, they're good, led by Mark Matthews. Ball carried at the top of the slot by Matthews. A left wing pass over to Curtis Knight, back over to Matthews. Deep down in the corner with 5 to shoot. Brought back out to the slot area, back over to Matthews, trying to get a shot away, 2 to shoot. And Matthews taking a long shot, trying to make a hot stick shot over to the near side, but the Bandits intercept, and Mitch DeSnew will bring the ball just outside the restraining line in the Rush zone. Mitch Jones tipping it back over to Dane Smith, finding it open. Craig England in the lineup for tonight. And there's Ryan Benesh from the near side, back over to Smith. Now Benesh looking from the slot area. A crushing defense. Here's Dane Smith. 9 to shoot for the Bandits. Low drive, scores! The Great Dane. 1-0 Buffalo.
That's a great 5-on-5 set, John. Straight away, ball was going east, west, north, south. It was with the lefties, a hard pick. Back over to Dane Smith on the far side. He's so lightning quick. Just sidesteps his man and throws that patented low to low short side on Aaron Bold to start the Bandits wanted, Johnny.
The Great Dane on the scoreboard is 21st of the season. Now 56 points for Dane Smith. It's 1-0 Buffalo here in the early goings of quarter number 1. And from the draw, a face-off violation on Jeremy Thompson affords Tim Edwards to get the ball immediately to Jones, who one-hands it, ground ball back over to Dane Smith. Now here's Craig England. Scored in every game he's been in. Jones with a burner right to the front of Bold, who relieves it down in the near corner. It's carried out by Kyle Rubisch. 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, Rubisch. Flipping the ball off, and here come the Rush on offense. Ben McIntosh at left, looking, shooting, splitting save by Cosmo. And the loose ball picked up, the outlet pass all the way back to the restraining line. And a big foot race, finding deep down in the near corner. Bandits getting the ball back over to Steve Priolo. Great heads-up play by Nick Weiss, getting the ball in play down in the Rush zone.
Yeah, absolutely. They want to get the... Oh.
Score, Bandits, Benny. How about that for a quick stick?
I don't think Aaron Bold was expecting that. The Bandits were still changing. I believe it was Priolo was still getting off to get another offensive player on the floor. Dane Smith just spots Benesh probably about 15 feet. And what a quick stick. Aaron Bold going one way. Benesh goes back the far side. A high to low. And the Bandits are up by 2.
So Ryan Benesh, who last week scored 4 goals, now with his 18th of the season and shooting a very respectable 18% from the floor. 2-0 Buffalo here in the first quarter of play. Scramble for the draw, finding Bandits with control of the ball. Steve Prioldo, a right wing pass up to Mitch DeSnew, who brings it right to the Rush restraining line, and the front door opens up. The offense comes out for Buffalo, led by Mitch Jones. A left wing pass from Smith over to Stainhouse, leaving it back to the top of the slot to Pat Saunders. Now Stainhouse, far side pass. Saunders with a shot, deflected off one of the Rush defenders. Saunders getting his own rebound from the corner. 5 to shoot for Buffalo. Top of the slot. Low drive. Save. Bold. He'll wrap it up in his pads and then make the outlet pass back over to John LaFontaine, who pushes the ball back out to midfield. 2-0 Buffalo here in the first quarter of play. 12 minutes and 13 seconds remaining. Rush from the left wing side. Soroketti getting a shot. There's a shot by Matthews. Turned aside by Cosmo. Reset shot clock for the Rush. And Matthews keeps it outside the restraining line at right. Here comes Matthews powering in. Laying off shot. Now to McIntosh, scores. Ben McIntosh from the top of the slot. 22nd goal of the season, and the goose egg comes off the scoreboard for the Rush.
That's a nicely placed shot by McIntosh. Matthews cuts through the middle, looking for a feed. Adam Jones doesn't hit him, and then just sees McIntosh sitting just like Benesh. Just the opposite direction. Real quick stick to the far side. I believe Cosmo wants that one back.
Well, we said in the middle of the week, you want to take a look at number 90, Ben McIntosh, first overall of the 2013 NLL draft, the rookie of the year in 15, shooting a respectable 21% from the floor. And McIntosh with his 22nd of the season. 2-1 Buffalo here in the first quarter of play. In over the line come the Rush, carried by Robert Church, leaving it over to the near side from Curtis Knight, top of the slot. Over to McIntosh, tips it back over to Matthews. Matthews back from the slot area, shot save. Cosmo rebound, jumps out in front, scramble for the ball, finding Cosmo digging it from his crease area. Behind the back pass over to Steve Prioldo and pushing it over to Alexander Quito Hill, who will hang out at midfield and wait for the front door to open up as Benesh finds an open place. Reardon in the lineup tonight. Left wing pass over to Dane Smith with a shot. Bolt with a save, looking for the ball in between his legs, and it's picked up by the Rush and pushed back out at midfield. The rookie, Mike Messinger, runs it across the line from the left wing side, and this kid can move and score as well, which he does. 2-2 the score. Mike Messinger.
Great individual effort by Messinger. Just takes his man one-on-one, gives a roll dodge. He's like 6'1", 225, John. He just gets into the defense, rolls right off, and just goes far side. Over the top left shoulder on Cosmo. Great goal by Messinger.
So after a 2-0 lead by Buffalo, the Rush, as they generally do, come right back into the game. And credit to playmaking of Ben McIntosh, who scores his 22nd, and Mike Messinger with his 5th of the season. Here's a guy, 3rd overall in the 16 draft. And Randy, you're right, he's a bull.
Yeah, he absolutely is, so he's a matchup problem. He's going to play more of that defensive transition role. But yeah, as the Saskatchewan Rush they were changing, Buffalo just kind of fell asleep just a little bit, and then Andrew Watt was just left one-on-one, and Messenger's going to take that advantage of that matchup every time, Johnny.
There's Saunders with a shot into traffic. Bold gets it and clears it back out to midfield. Metzke comes up with it in over the line, and he stations himself right at the restraining line and affords the opportunity of the forwards to get back out there, led by Robert Church. 29 goals coming into this evening's game. Church tipping it back over to Curtis Knight. Knight tipping it back to the near side. Now Church over to Matthews. Quick stick shot, score! Matthew Dinsdale with his 12th of the season. And the kid that went 3-3 last weekend gives the Rush the first lead of the game.
And what eyes by Mark Matthews. He's over on the far wall, and he just goes cross field. Dinsdale just parked on the backside, and he goes low to low through the pads of Cosmo. What a response by the Saskatchewan Rush.
There's another kid, first-round draft choice of the 2012 NLL draft. In his 5th season, he's paid his dues, and obviously, Coach Keenan likes the way the kid plays, and he's out there and contributing. And here's Thompson with a low drive. Kick save by Cosmo. Rebound into the far Buffalo corner. 3-2 Rush. And hang on here. We've got a stoppage in play with just 4 minutes and 56 seconds left. And unfortunately, Buffalo will get a call. And it's going against Nick Weiss.
He's going to go for 2 for cross-check. I didn't see it on ball. Must have been something off ball. Regardless, the Rush going to go on their first power play of the evening.
Mark Matthews quarterbacks the power play for the Rush coming into this evening's game. 57%, 3rd overall. There's a shot and a goal scored by the Rush. They waste little time, and now they take a 4-2 lead.
Yeah, that's Robert Church. They wasted little time. 1 pass, 2 pass. Matthews to Church, and he just lasers one high to high. Cosmo gets a piece. Oh, then it just sneaks through and over the goal line for their first power play marker of the evening, Johnny. You don't want to give them too many opportunities on the power play. They got way too many weapons.
I was going to say now with the Bandits being shorthanded, but Saskatchewan is one of the teams that has allowed 9 shorthanded goals. That's tops in the NLL, but the Bandits couldn't convert. Let's see what they do on this rush as the loose ball is picked up by Steve Priolo. He powers in, shooting. Sided off by Bull. It's picked up by Jeff Cornwall. He twirls around and starts it up out at midfield. Good defense by Steve Priolo. Comes into this evening's game. 23 caused turnovers, and Buffalo's doing a nice job. They're heated on this 4-2 lead that the Rush have after Buffalo building a 2-0 lead. There's Priolo again, single-handedly getting the ball back out at midfield, but now it's picked up by Cornwall. In pursuit. Leaves it back out for fresh legs. In over the line is Matthews with a shot. Kick save by Cosmo, picked up by Kevin Brunell, and he'll start it up for Buffalo. 4-2 Rush here in the first quarter of play with 9:09 remaining. In over the line goes Brunell from center. Stainhouse over to Banesh. Banesh tipping it over to Dane Smith, deking. Now Banesh deking his way out in front. Tried to thread the needle over to Edwards. Couldn't do it. The bouncing ball goes into the far Rush corner, and it's picked up by the Rush and cleared back out. However, good pressure on by Buffalo, forechecking and keeping the ball at bay down into Rush territory. They could not get out in the 8-second mark, and it stops the clock with 8 minutes and 45 seconds left to play here in quarter number 1. Rush 4, Bandits 2. This is Bandits Lacrosse.
Tyson, I don't know about you, but even though 2017 isn't over, I'm already excited for the 2018 NLL season.
And I think that's because the 2017 season has been so exciting. There's been so many games that have been decided by just one single goal. Lots of games going to overtime. Some highlight reel plays on any given night. Games you just don't want to miss.
It has been action-packed for sure. And fans, if you're like me and already counting down the days until 2018 NLL season, well, we have some news for you. You can renew and subscribe to NLLTV.com today for the 2018 season. And if you do it now, you're going to get a discount on your subscription.
Also, a chance to win a pair of tickets to the 2017 Champions Cup Final. Lots on the line.
Also, you can win a meet and greet with your favorite player or the commissioner himself. There are so many incredible prizes if you renew today, so don't miss out on this opportunity.
Sign up and get all the latest NLL news delivered right to your inbox. Visit NLL.com and sign up for the NLL newsletter now. John Gertler, Randy Mearns with you this evening from the KeyBank Center in downtown Buffalo. The fans trying to make some noise here and get the Bandits back into the game. Joe DiBiaso is our producer. Scott Fleetwood is our director. And Barry McClellan, also our producer on NLL TV and Twitter. On night is the game of the week in the National Lacrosse League. 3rd of the 7th game scheduled in the 2-year deal with Twitter. As they say, Randy Mearns, the best and fastest place to see what's happening anywhere, anytime. 280 million users, 62 million here in the U.S. and Canada, and it's available in 40 languages.
It's a pretty amazing platform, Johnny, and the NLL is a part of it. Love it.
Hope you're enjoying. If you just tuned in with us on Twitter tonight, here from Buffalo, where the Rush have built a 4-2 lead after the Bandits jumped out 2-0. Dane Smith from the left point, coming back outside the line, finding an open Mitch Jones. He's to the near boards. Jones scoots out to the slot area, looking for somebody. Ryan Benesh on a quick stick, or check that, Saunders. He shot it wide, and the bouncing ball picked up by the Rush. And Randy, it seems like the Rush have settled down a little bit, and it's Kyle Rubisch along with Brett Metzke combining together to get that ball out at middle.
Yeah, they certainly have. You know, I think Buffalo took advantage, got the first few faceoffs, played pretty quickly. That last time out, defensive-wise, I think they're getting a little bit more organized. You know, typically in a game, you try to feel each other out, Johnny, and it looks like they've kind of started to figure out what the Bandits are going to try to bring 5-on-5 tonight.
Loose ball picked up by the Bandits captain, Billy D. Smith, performing in his 190th Bandit game, all with the Bandits, 15th seasons. Mark Stainhouse right behind the net, back to the top of the slot to Benny, tipping it back over to Blaze Reardon. Now Stainhouse to Dane Smith. Deking Smith scores! The great Dane barking it again.
I love the offensive set. A lot of quick ball movement, back, forth, back, forth. And Dane Smith just gets it on the half wall, takes his man one-on-one, three guys collapse to him, just does a roll dodge, just like Mike Messenger. There's no fourth man for the help. He gets to the heart of the defense and goes short or far side on bold.
Boy, nobody can cut like Dane Smith. Second goal of the night, 22nd of the season. And as we had mentioned in the pregame show, eclipsed the 400-point mark in his career last week in Rochester. There's a loose ball picked up by Timmy Edwards, doing a great job at drawing tonight so far, Randy. And your Canisius College product, tipping the ball back down, and Craig England has got it.
Ooh.
An errant pass, forcing Jones to save the ball over in back charge, and finding an open Mark Stainhouse. Stainhouse tipping a hot ball, trying to get it feed down to Alexander Keto Hill, but couldn't do it on that offensive rush. In over the line is Mike Messenger. There's a quick stick and a great pass by Messenger. A good save by Anthony Cosmo. It hit the high netting, and it'll be the Rush ball and a fresh 30 to boot.
Absolutely, but the Rush, they have some transition guys as well. Buffalo got caught on a 2-on-1. Messengers goes to the far side, and Cosmo with a huge save.
Here's Robert Church from the top of the slot. Far side pass, quick stick, shot straight on, save by Cosmo off the stick of Adam Jones, a Canisius College product as well. Loose ball is Mitch DeSnew, a couple of Drexel players out there, and Mitch DeSnew along with Robert Church. And they'll leave the ball back out at midfield, and it's Mark Stainhouse in over the line. In pursuit is Jeremy Thompson. Stainhouse from the corner, leaving it back over to Dane Smith. In pursuit is John LaFontaine. Smith shot straight on by Saunders, saved by Bold. And the rebound picked up by Adrian Sortachetti. And he'll push it back out. Firing it deep into the corner to Mark Matthews. Looking, taking a couple of swats from Kevin Brunell. Ben McIntosh leaving it down to Sortachetti from the top of the slot. Far side pass now. Sortachetti with a drive. And Cosmo, did he get a piece of that one? No. And the loose ball goes over the bench.
Oh, they're saying it was tipped by Buffalo on the rebound.
There's no way they caught that one, but it went into the Bandits bench, so they'll give the ball back to the Rush and a fresh 30. 4-3 Rush here in the first quarter of play, 5:40 remaining. Outside the line is McIntosh. Near side. Picked up over to Knight. Far side pass to Matthews. Deep into the corner. Twirling. Taking a shot. Scores! Rush. How did they do that one?
That's just a great individual effort. Just trying to check to see who got that one here, Johnny. But regardless, they get the ball over. Just an individual effort. And a little bit of a roll dodge. Reaches to go far side. And Ryan Keenan, Coach Keenan's son, played at Quinnipiac. Phenomenal player. Just does that inside roll. Reaches far. Comes back between the pads of Cosmo.
Well, they're going to change things up immediately here. Head coach Troy Cordingley is going to take Cosmo out, and that means that Dave DeRusio is coming in for Buffalo. A .767 save percentage, a 1-4 record. Last time he played in Roch, 40 saves. And he's in action tonight after the Rush have built a 5-3 lead. And here comes Jeremy Thompson with a shot straight on. Rusio got a piece of that one, and the high ball hitting the netting, and whose ball will it be? Buffalo's. 5-3 Rush here in the first quarter of play. Hey, it's great to have you with us tonight on the radio, ESPN 1520, and to our affiliate down in Salamanca, good evening at WGWE. Again, the Twitter game of the week, and Buffalo's shot straight on. Saunders save bold. And the more time he sees rubber, Randy, the more confidence he gets.
I think you're exactly right, and he saw that one all the way. A good pick and roll there by Saunders and Ryan Badesh. The quick flip back. Badesh had a great look, but Aaron Bold equal to the task.
Robert Church from the left point, waiting for the rest of the crew to get into the turf and down to the Bandit zone, which he does. High side, far side, near side. Save.
Wow, that's a huge
Curtis Knight.
That's a huge save on Knight.
Here come the Bandits storming in over the line. Shot straight on. There's a block by Soroketti. Rebound is picked up by Blaze Reardon, and he leaves it outside the line over to Dane Smith. Now to Reardon. Back in the lineup after serving some time on IR. Far side pass over to Keto Hill. Keto Hill to Dane Smith with a shot. Saved. Bold rebound picked up by Soroketti. And he'll clear it back out his line. However, good defense by Saunders, and Stainhouse, but the ball is lost and picked up now by the Rush. They lead it 5-3 here with 4:07 remaining in the first quarter of play. In over the line is Ben McIntosh. Far side field pass. Tipping it back over to Keenan, finding it open. Mark Matthews dashing in. Here's Matthews faking the shot, leaving it back out, draining it back over to the right point. Now to the left point to McIntosh. He couldn't get a shot away. Leaves it back over as a shot straight on by Dinsdale. Good save by the Big Fish. Dave DeRusio, who has replaced Anthony Malcolm. 6'3", 300 pounds. Dave DeRusio. In over the line. Ryan Banesh. Flip it all the way back over to Stainhouse. Now to Dane Smith. Here's Smith shooting it wide. Rebound. Jones trying to make a quick stick shot in front over to Dane Smith, but couldn't do it in the fast transition now for the Rush coming in over the line, led by Mike Messinger. He'll stay out there on the Rush, creating some room, giving a little bit of help to Robert Church. Goes far side over to Mark Matthews, deep into the corner, tipping it over to Adam Jones. Jones powering his way from the checking of Andrew Watt. Jones with a shot. Watt got a piece of that one, bounces along the ball. The boards, and now it's picked up by Buffalo just outside at midfield. And 2 seconds remaining on the shot clock, and with that play frozen out at midfield, 2:51 remaining. First quarter, 5-3 Rush. This is Bandits Lacrosse.
Whether you're cutting.
Welcome, lacrosse fans. Tyson Geik of NLL Productions here with you right now, and I'm joined by Shay Hewen, CEO and founder of the U-Hawk Camera. We have some exciting news for you today. The NLL has officially partnered with the U-Hawk Camera, the new official action camera of the National Lacrosse League. Shay, an exciting moment, for both parties here.
Yeah, it's an incredible day. It's a big step and a big moment in the history of sports, and for the National Lacrosse League to be the first league to step up and bring actual player point of view, video footage to fans at home in the actual real raw competition in the season. It's a monumental day, and we're very excited to be the official camera provider to be a part of that.
Wait a minute, hold up, 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 wait a minute.
Bandits host Tucker Out Lymphoma Night in honor of Tucker Williams and his fight against Burkitt lymphoma. Join the Bandits on April 22nd when they host Georgia at 7:30 p.m. For tickets and more information, visit bandits.com. We mentioned earlier, this is the Twitter Game of the Week worldwide with 280 million users. If you're watching this game and saying, what the heck is going on? It's a game of indoor lacrosse, the oldest game in North America. On a surface of 200 by 85 feet. It's synthetic turf out there. 5 players aside of the goaltender. You're playing 4 quarters, 15 minutes. You do take a halftime, and there's overtime as well. Object Players playing with sticks about 40 to 42 inches long. The webbing of the stick is there, carried by the ball. Some 5 ounces of hard rubber, 7 3/4 in circumference. They're shooting in a net that's 4 feet high and 4 feet 9 inches wide. Here's Mitch Jones from the top of the slot, tipping the ball back over to Mark Stainhouse. Stainhouse double teamed on the play, eludes that one. Here's Ryan Benesh. That's batted aside and goes deep into the Rush corner, and it's picked up by the Rush and cleared out to middle. Former Bandit Jeremy Thompson outside the restraining line for Buffalo. Feed pass to the near boards over to Adrian Soroketti. Check that to Matthew Dinsdale. Here's Dinsdale from the slot, taking a shot, blocked into traffic. The rebound to the near corner. 5 to shoot for the Rush. Scramble for the ball continues, and the big fish is there for Buffalo and makes the outlet pass on the right wing side to Mitch Desnew, who pushes the ball back up to mid-floor. Desnew with 3 points in his last 5 games, getting involved in that offense, and they need a little bit more of it right now. Let's see what Stainhouse can do from left. Getting a couple of swats from Dinsdale. Ryan Benesh got a feed ball, but it's poked away by Brett Metzke. And they're looking to save the over and back charge with good heads-up play by the Rush, Mike Messenger, and keeps it back out, so it will be Rush ball. Oh, Randy. Those little individual confrontations playing off dividends, and now a penalty against the Bandits affords Aaron Bull to run to the bench, and the extra attacker is out. 57% power play efficiency for the Rush. They made the connection already tonight on one of the goals, 3rd overall in the league. And the Bandits getting themselves into position as Matthews lets a shot go. Curtis Knight got a rebound of it. And now the loose ball picked up by Robert Church. They've got plenty of time to do it because the shot clock reset. Church from the left point, top of the slot is Matthews with a shot. Saved by Fish. Rebound picked up by the Rush. Resetting the shot clock. Again, penalty coming up against the Bandits. The 6th attacker is out for the Rush. They lead this game 5-3 with 18 seconds left to play into the first quarter. Matthews and Church play catch from the top of the slot. Church moves to the middle, takes a shot. Marussia with the save, and with 9.8 seconds remaining, Randy, a penalty coming up against Buffalo, the 2nd power play opportunity for the Rush.
Yeah, I think that's going to go against Steve Priolo. Let's check that actually coming across the bench. It was during that 50-50 ground ball at the center line, a little frustrating. And that's going to be Ryan Benesh for a slash. 2nd power play opportunity for the Rush. Their first outing, they were 1 for 1. Excuse me, that makes sense. Yeah, they were 1 for 1. They scored in very, very quick fashion by number 17, Robert Church, off a great feed by Mark Matthews.
Watch this power play go to work. They tried to file it in front, but Buffalo swatted it away, and Kevin Bunnell is there, and that's going to do it for the first quarter of play. Buffalo jumping out to a 2-0 lead, only to see that go by the wayside, and the Rush have built a 5-3 lead. This is Bandits lacrosse.
He's got Teepee on the take, scores!
Now back over to Dane Smith with a shot. Hit the goal post inside, he scores!
Afraid you might miss out on the big stories from your favorite team? Well, not to fear, the NLL newsletter is here. All you have to do is subscribe to the new NLL newsletter, and you'll get weekly updates from everything that is happening around the league. What are you waiting for? Subscribe today.
If you're a player looking for a lightweight head that delivers power and control, string up the Under Armour Command Low.
Then the Rush started strong, getting their legs here in Buffalo and start building the lead. Started with Ben McIntosh at 3:07, Mike Messenger at 3:56, Dinsdale at 4:44, and then Robert Church at 5:04 on the power play. Dane Smith with his second of the night at 7:29, and Keenan scoring at 9:33. Randy, numbers.
The Bandits being outshot by the Rush 19-11. The combination of DeRocio and Cosmo, 14 saves, Aaron Bold 8. The Bandits out loose balling the Rush 23-18. Rush 1 for 2 on the power play, but they're still in their second opportunity here, Johnny. And the face-off, Timmy Edwards 6 for 9. Jeremy Thompson 3 for 9.
Underway for the second quarter of play here in Buffalo at the KeyBank Center. Great crowd on hand here this evening. They already had 15,000 sold before the start of today, and it looks like there's 16-17 here. Matthews to Church, scores! Adam Jones. So Randy, your product out of Canisius College, played in Colorado, set all marks there, and a trade, seeing Greer go to Colorado, and Jones, a welcome sight with Saskatchewan.
Oh, absolutely. You know, he's enjoying his time there. I think it's a right fit there for him in Saskatchewan. And, you know, he's got the two lefties. He's playing there with Mark Matthews. Matthews playing up at the top. Jones, he just set up into that nice shooter spot. Matthews with the behind the back. Little hesitation, high to low through the legs of DeRocio. Great goal by Adam Jones.
Great marks for Saskatchewan coming into this evening's game with such a talented roster. Jones, the 2012 Rookie of the Year. 9 points in his last 5 games coming in before the opening face-off tonight. His 15th of the season, 6-3 rush here in the early goings of quarter number 2. Mark Matthews from the right wing side, trots from the slot area, looking, dekes his way in, feeds it back out one-handed, tried to feed it over to Matthew Dinsdale, but here comes a break for Buffalo. With the ball in over the line they go. Tipping it back to the top of the slot, Dane Smith is there. Nice feed pass by Timmy Edwards, who pushed that ball all the way down to the Rush zone. Mark Stainhouse from the slot area, back over to Dane Smith, looking for the hat trick here in the game. Smith from behind the net, back over to Reardon with a low drive. Save Bold, rebound picked up by Adrian Soroketti. And here he comes in across the line. He's got Mike Messenger with him, along with Bourbiel, but a score by the Rush, 7-3.
Yeah,
they're
great.
Coming from all over.
Absolutely. Soroketti. Good look. He looks off. Mike Messenger. It's a 3-on-2. Buffalo gets beat in transition. I think DeRocio was thinking that he was going to kick that back to the trailer and then just goes quickly to the net, goes high to low, sidearm right between the pads. Extend the Rush lead by 4, 7-3 here, Johnny.
Second, Rush goal, scored by number 72, Adrian Soroketti.
Soroketti with his 8th of the season. Wonder what his nickname is, Randy? Spaghetti. Holy cannoli. It's a ravioli. Adrian Soroketti from Hofstra scoring his 8th of the season, 7-3 Rush. Scrambled for the ball down to the Rush zone with ease out of their own zone. Nick Billick with it. Long pass deep into Buffalo territory, and the Rush go to work. There's a shot on by Jeff Cornwall, former Bandit. That hit the netting, so it'll be Bandits ball. David Brock played in his 100th NLL game last week. Moves all the way back outside the line to a running Pat Saunders. Shooting it, hit the goal post, right side of Aaron Bolt. Rebound Buffalo. Tipping it now over to Craig England. England to Mitch Jones. Far side pass now to the near side over to Viking Dane Smith. Smith feeding it back to the far side. Shot straight on, save Bold, and he scrapes it up and makes the outlet pass over to Soroketti. And he comes across the line. Winding up, looking for a shot. Takes a beating by Billy D. Smith. Soroketti hanging on to it. Shooting it to the right side of DeRocio. Rebound Buffalo, and here come the Bandits. Dane Smith breaking away, shooting it back behind the Rush net. It went wide, just couldn't get the full throttle on that shot, Randy, the way he wanted it.
Yeah, he was going down. if he tried to get to the center of the cage, he was probably going to get level. Two guys were flying to him, so he had to kind of pull up and try to go short side. Just missed.
Rush go to work down in the Bandits zone. Mark Matthews from the side plays catch outside the line. Far side pass deep into the corner, twirling to the near side from the slot area. 5 to shoot for the Rush, taking all the time, and the shot goes wide. Rebound picked up by the Rush, and Jones will leave it all the way down deep into the corner, and retrieving it will be Andrew Watts in his 9th year as a Bandit. Pushing it back out to Steve Priolo, leading the defenseman of the National Lacrosse League in scoring, and a left wing pass to Mark Stainhouse. Stainhouse tipping it far side over to Ryan Benesh, deep over to Blaze Reardon. Reardon now over to Stainhouse. Coming in strong with plenty of time to shoot, however, double teamed on the play. England goes far side, but this shot blocked by the defense, and here's a break for Jeff Cornwall. Dashing in on his patented run, shot goes wide. Mark Stainhouse getting the ball back for Buffalo. They're down 7-3 here in the second quarter of play with 11:03 remaining. Stainhouse shoveling move over to Dane Smith. Smith finding it open from the far side. Back over to Jones. One hands it to Benesh. Now to Smith with a shot. Shoulder save with confidence by Bold, but Buffalo gets the rebound and a fresh 30. 7-3 Rush here in the second quarter. Smith shot on by Jones. Save. Bold. Rebound picked up by their defense and pushed out by the Rush. In winners Friday night at home against Calgary, and then they lost on Sunday to Colorado. Go check that Saturday night. Far side pass. Shot straight on from the far side, picked up by DeRusio. And like Bold, Randy, the big fish likes to see plenty of rubber so he can get himself into the game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that one, you know, he was very, very set up. It went from east to west. And a good look by Robert Church. DeRusio seen it all the way, stepped out. Equal to the task there, Johnny.
Dane Smith from the left point. Tried to feed it in on a quick stick shot over to Benesh. But again, passing is just not on. And here come the Rush. Soroketti leaving it back to the top of the slot. Good save by DeRusio. Rebound, David Brock. Can he hang on to it? Brock is taken out of the play, and the loose ball is picked up by Curtis Knight. He digs it out. Working into the slot area, double teamed on the play. Knight one-hands it. Far side pass intended, but it's picked up by Steve Priolo, and here come the Bandits. Tim Edwards in over the line. Trailing in is Brunel. Far side pass to Stainhouse. Score!
Oh, and the Bandits needed that in a big, big way. In their own end, they win that 50-50 battle. They go in their own transition. It's a quick 4-on-2. A couple of Bandits coming out the front door. Timmy Edwards, a real good look. Instead of going in and shooting, kicks it back to Stainhouse. He one-times to Saunders. Saunders goes high to low. And the Bandit fans are off their seats again here, Johnny.
Back into this game, and it's Pat Saunders with his 19th of the season. 7 goals in his last 4 games, and Buffalo inching back. The Rush with a 7-4 lead. Second quarter, 9:25 remaining. This is Bandits lacrosse. Bandits will continue their spring lacrosse clinics. The next one will be on April 22nd, and there's one on the 29th. Each child will receive on-the-floor instruction as well as one free ticket for a remaining Bandits home game for the 2017 season. They'll also receive a team yearbook, autographed photo of a select Bandits player. You can go to bandits.com/clinics to register your child today. Calgary leading Rochester 4-2 with 8:46 left in the second. Georgia with a 10-7 lead over Colorado in the second quarter of play with 38 seconds left. To our broadcast right here at the Ted Darling Memorial Press Box, play-by-play, John Fraser of the Saskatchewan Rush. This officially is his last game, as I am told, as he's moving on to a different profession. And we wish John well. We call him Johnny Fraser. Guess who's his replacement? Dave Thomas.
Is it the guy from Wendy's?
I don't know. But look at the Rush. They just scored another goal. 8-4. Jonesy again playing in front of his hometown fans.
Shooting through a screen, Johnny. That's number 2 on the night for Adam Jones. You know, if you let him kind of sit there and where he can step down, you don't put any pressure. He's just got this uncanny knack to find the net.
Boy, all of a sudden I got hungry for a Wendy's hamburger. Now that Dave Thomas is going to take over the voice of the Rush.
I think that's going to be...
Can I get fries with that too, please?
Yeah.
Supersize it?
Is he going to get a nickname like DT or Davey?
No, I call him DT. He's doing the game next week on the radio. We wish Johnny Fraser all the luck in the world. Best to him. Great play-by-play man of the Saskatchewan Rush, Johnny Fraser. So long, everybody. Here in Buffalo, it's 8-4 Rush. And they're knocking on the door again, right side of Dave DeRusio, who replaced Anthony Cosmo in the first quarter of play. Rush again with the ball, 5 to shoot. Far side, there's a shot on, save DeRusio. Rebound scrambles to the right side of the Buffalo net, and it's picked up by the Bandits and finally getting out of their own zone. 8-4 Rush here in the second quarter of play. David Brock tips the ball over to Mitch Jones. Running in and completing the offense is Mark Stainhouse in over the line. Stainhouse, far side pass to Banesh, back over to Stainhouse. There's a shot straight on, score! Mr. Jones!
That's a great shot by Mitch Jones. Gets a good feed from Stainhouse. Aaron Bold goes from one side to the next. It's going east-west. And Jones goes back the opposite way on a one-timer, high to high. That thing had some heat on it too, Johnny. And the Bandits back within 3.
22nd of the season for Jones. Last week, a goal and 4 assists down in Rochester, and the Bandits losing effort. Bandits trying to get back into this game after taking a 2-0 lead. Loose ball in Bandit territory, swept back out. Edwards right in front of the Rush fence, leaving it out. Nell checked in on the play, and Jeremy Thompson comes up with it and reverses thrusters and forces the Rush back out at midfield. There he is, picked up, and a break now for Buffalo, straight in, shooting, save, Bold. Off the moves of Alexander Keto Hill. Or check that. Timmy Edwards. In over the line, Nick Billick. There's a shot, score! Ben McIntosh with his second of the night, 9-5 Rush.
Well, this game is not a defensive matchup, Johnny. These guys are up and down the floor. Buffalo gets one in transition. The Rush comes straight back. It's a quick set, 3v3. 2 Bandit defenders trailing the play. And Ben McIntosh just shooting through a screen to the far side over the left shoulder to DeRusio. And they're back up by 4.
11 goals. Now make that 12 goals in his last 6 games. Ben McIntosh giving the Rush the 9-5 lead here in the second quarter of play. Bandits going to work down in the Rush zone. Mark Stainhouse over to Dane Smith. Tipping it over to Ryan Banesh. Far side pass over to Jones. Shooting it. Save. Bold scrambling for it. And leaving the egg down on the turf, and into the big wicket he goes, and cleared back out. Adrian Saraketti. Hofstra product, leaving it out at midfield. Derek Keenan crew changing on the fly, and completed as Mark Matthews with his big 6'5", 230-pound frame, leaving the ball to the far side. Keeping it down with 9 seconds remaining. Matthews on a quick stick going wide. Rebound picked up. And a good move by Curtis Knight. There's a long drive off the stick of Ryan Keenan, turned aside by DeRusio, and now picked up by the Bandits, and rushing down the left wing lane is David Brock. In over the line he goes. Brock eyeing out the situation. Brock shooting it wide and over the crossbar. Rebound is picked up by Ryan Dilks, the 2016 Player of the Year. 51 caused turnovers for Dilks last year. In over the line, there's Billick with a shot that goes wide. Billick doing some tackling work, and the ball picked up by Mitch DeSnew, cleared back out, and here's Alexander Quito Hill directing traffic as he comes across the line and deep into Rush territory. 6:15 remaining, second quarter. 9-5 Rush. Low drive by Banesh, save Bold. Rebound picked up by the Rush and cleared off the moves of the captain, Chris Corbeil. Soroketti with a shot, scores.
And again, quick play transition. Soroketti down this near side. Dane Smith swipes at the stick. The veteran pulls that thing in. And then just kind of puts a floater, sidearm to low through the pads, I believe, or far side of DeRusio. And that's the 6th transition goal for the Saskatchewan Rush tonight out of 10. They're beating Buffalo up and down the floor here, Johnny.
Shots 29-21 favoring the Rush. It's 10-5 Rush here in the second quarter of play. 5 minutes, 56 seconds remaining. Cornwall with the ball deep into the corner. Tried to set up a quick stick. Couldn't do it. Buffalo's got the ball, and here they come back out at midfield. Kevin Brunell pushes it back out. Crossing midfield, leaving it for Stainhouse, who trots across the left wing lane inside the Rush zone. Far side pass to Jones. Back to Stainhouse. Looking. 10 to shoot for the Bandits as Stainhouse comes in close. Creating spaces. Craig England, and Stainhouse with 5 seconds left, still hanging onto that ball. Forced back behind the net. And the connection intended for Blaze Reardon, but couldn't do it, and swept by the Rush back into their own zone. And here they come. Back out at midfield. Leading it 10-5. In over the line go the Rush from the far side. Try to set up a running McIntosh, but it's intercepted and now cleared by DeRusio down the left wing lane over to Dave Brock. 10-5 Rush. Bandits trying to get back in. Nick Weiss had an opportunity of the shot straight on. Like to go to the far side, and the quick stick over to Brian Banesh couldn't do it. Soroketti comes right back, goes to a far side pass, picked up by the Rush. They lead it 10-5 here in the second quarter of play. Adam Jones with 2 so far in this game. Back over to Keenan with a shot. That's blocked by Buffalo's defense, and the dribbling ball cleared by the Big Fish. In over the line goes Dane Smith. Deaking, shooting, save, Bold, straight on. And he'll outlet the ball to the near side over to Kyle Rubish. Had 6 caused turnovers on Friday night at home of last week. That's just the kind of defense that they run. They push you around. They'll steal that ball. They'll whack it out of the webbing of your stick. Anything to do to push it back up to midfield. Get it to this guy, Mark Matthews.
Very tenacious, very aggressive. They got size. They can transition. That defensive core for the Rush is considered one of the best defenses in the National Lacrosse League, and no wonder they got like 7 or 8 of these guys that can do it.
Good pass by Alexander Quito Hill to Stainhouse, but his shot is turned aside, and here come the Rush. Some good hitting right now. Double teaming on the play. Still trying to get the ball away from Thompson. Thompson getting it right back down to the Bandit zone. Far side, there's a low drive. And DeRusio makes the save and stops the clock with 3:31 remaining. Second quarter, 10-5 Rush. This is Bandits Lacrosse.
Missed the action in the NLL last weekend? Maybe you want a little analysis. Mia Gordon and Tyson Geik break things down twice a week in the NLL's flagship show, The Box. Catch all of the highlights, scores, and exclusive interviews in both our pre- and post-game episodes every week on NLLTV.com.
Out lymphoma night as the Georgia Swarm come to town. Don't miss the Bandits Labatt pregame party. Happens at the Alexis Club right here at KeyBank Center. Starts at 6 o'clock, goes all the way to 7:30, which is the face-off. Looking for the buffet and a ticket, you can get it for $32. If you already have a ticket, you can get the buffet for $17. Wow, Rush with a 10-5 lead over the Bandits. At halftime, Rochester with a 10-8 lead over Calgary. And with 32 seconds left to play in the second quarter, Colorado with a 6-3 lead over Georgia. Didn't we have Georgia leading that game at one time? In any event, here in Buffalo, it's all Rush after the Bandits' 2-0 lead. Randy, what do they need to do here in the closing minutes of this second quarter?
Well, that's pretty simple. They need to score some goals offensively. They got to limit the transition opportunities by the Rush. The last 2 or 3 goals have come in transition. Real quick play. They're just beating Buffalo down the floor, utilizing their transition players, especially Soroketti. He's just having a phenomenal night tonight, Johnny.
Jones trying to get a shot away. The rebound picked up for Reardon. Goes far side. Play kept down into the Rush zone, but there's only 2 seconds left on the shot clock, and Rush will get it out to midfield. And Chris Corbeil, the captain of the Rush, with it at midfield, waiting for Derek Keenan's crew to change up on the offense. I spoke with Derek Keenan earlier this evening. I said, who do you go for? Who do you go to on the bench to spur the team up and send the message? He said, Corbeil. He's my man. Also a former Buffalo Bandit. Far side shot, saved Ruscio. Rebound picked up by the Bandits. And it's Timmy Edwards who sprints his way back out at middle and crossing the line, setting up Ryan Benesh. Ball intercepted by the Rush. Getting a little too cute. And the ball immediately is cleared by Cornwall. There's a ball that's stopped off the shoulder of Mitch Desnew. That's going to leave a mark. And Desnew trying to shake that one off, and plenty of time on the clock for the Rush to set up the play from the outside at left. Far side. Leaving the ball to the right side of Ruscio. 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Good defensive play coming up with the ball, and the Bandits have it out of their own zone. 1:55 left here in the second quarter. The Rush leading at 10-5. Bandits at one time had a 2-0 lead. Alexander Quito Hill crossing the line. Leaving the ball into the far corner to Mitch Jones. Jones digging it back out from the slot area. Looking, trying to get a shot away. Can't do it. Technical foul on Buffalo. Possession change, and here come the Rush. Guess they're not following the words of what John Tavares told us. The reason why they were so low in shots in Rochester, they're not shooting the ball on net. They're trying to get too cute and make quick passes.
Yeah, I think they're trying to get too close. Either it's an individual trying to get to the heart of the defense, or they're trying to feed it inside where it's pretty tight in there. There's a lot of sticks, a lot of big bodies, and Buffalo just hasn't been able to penetrate over the last 6-7 minutes of the second quarter here, Johnny.
Here's Dane Smith all alone in the zone, dashing in. Shoulder save by Bold. Jeff Cornwall checking on to Dane Smith, a little slow in getting up, but the two run to the respective benches, and here come the Rush again with under a minute to play in the second quarter. 10-5 Rush. Near side pass over to Ryan Keenan, top of the slot, far side shot by Dinsdale, saved Ruscio. He'll lock it up in his pads and leave it for Mitch Desnew. Drexel product who will clear it back over to Mark Stainhouse. 35 seconds left to play here in the second quarter. 10-5 Rush. Stainhouse, far side pass over to Jones, deep into the corner over to Benesh. Now back over to Stainhouse, trying to get in close. Stainhouse from left, trying to zip in. Getting away from the checking, taking the shot. That goes wide. Rebound. Back to the top of the slot. Benesh shooting it. That's blocked by the big defense off the side of Rubish. And the ball left in desperation. Down back behind the Rush net. And hang on, we're going to have a penalty here with just 9.9 seconds remaining.
As that play was happening, Ryan Benesh just picked up his 800th career loose ball. And off ball, there's going to be a hold to Saskatchewan. Buffalo going to go on their first power play of the evening.
So Metzke goes to the penalty box. The limestone product will serve 2 and into the third quarter of play. And timeout will be called by Saskatchewan.
Yeah, they're going to get their personnel here straightened out, figure out exactly what they want to do. 9.9 seconds left in this second quarter. And if that anything, the very least, is they want to make sure Buffalo does not score here. You know, you don't want to get scored on with, you know, that last minute of quarters. You know, just from a psyche standpoint, it starts to change momentum. They got a 5-goal lead here. Coach Keenan's looking to go into that locker room still up by 5.
While we simmer here in Buffalo, we do have corrected scores from the National Lacrosse League out-of-town scoreboard. Calgary 6, Rochester 3 at half. And Georgia, yes, they have the lead, 10-8 over Colorado at the half. And here in Buffalo, it's 10-5, Rush. And the Bandits, number 1 in the National Lacrosse League in power play at 59.6%. They went 2 for 3 in Rochester last week. The Rush, 46% on the penalty kill and 7th overall in the league. Randy, let's see what the Bandits can do with their formation down into the rush zone. Dane Smith from the top of the slot, far side. Benesh scores! That's the way to do it.
Yeah, you get the energy from the crowd. They're going to go into the locker room down by 4, but you just got to feel like something's going right, because quite honestly, the last 7 minutes of this second quarter, Johnny, nothing was going right for the Bandits. And that's a snipe by Ryan Benesh. They do 2 couple of seals. Benesh pops out. He's that lefty. He's right in that nice shooting alley. Bull goes down. He goes high to high over the left shoulder. And Buffalo down within 4, but you can feel the energy back in this building. That's huge going into the locker room here, Johnny.
6 goals. His second
of the night for Ryan Benesh. 19th of the season. Last week upon his return after on IR from a concussion with his 4 goals. And now with 3.2 seconds remaining, Buffalo will call a timeout, and offensive coordinator John Tavares calls his snipers over and said, okay, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah, they're going to get the ball here right at center. It was a violation by the Jeremy Thompson of Saskatchewan. They're going to pull DeRosio. So it's going to be a quick 6-on-5 set, 3.2 seconds. Don't be surprised that Buffalo gets a shot to the cage, and wouldn't that be something if they can get something past Aaron Bold? 2 goals in the last 9 seconds of the quarter. That'd be huge.
Fans loving it here so far for the Bandits, just in the short period of time, as Randy had mentioned. Boy, that sequence in the early goings of the second quarter, nothing was going right for Buffalo, and fans behind the fuel of Ryan Benesh to get back into this game. Now 10-6, and John Tavares will dial up a play as the ball will be from midfield with 4.5 seconds remaining. Looks like they put another second back on the clock.
Absolutely. So Buffalo's going to get a good opportunity here to get something to the cage.
Dane Smith to Mark Steenhouse with a shot. Bold with the save, and that's going to do it for the second quarter of play. And we go to halftime with the Rush leading at 10-6. Dr. Chris Sayuda will be our halftime guest. He is the team's performance coach. And we'll go inside the head and find out what's going on here and see if this team can make a turnaround in the second half of play. This is Bandits Lacrosse.
Pro lacrosse teams are now fielded in Philadelphia, Boston, New York, Maryland, Montreal, and Quebec.
Yesterday there was friendly competition and not so friendly competition. We knew our true colors weren't just worn on our backs, they were painted on our faces and hoisted as high in the air as we could possibly carry them. Whatever it took to claim our turf. Yesterday we left it all out there. Blood, sweat, tears, you name it, we left it. We kept ourselves focused and we kept each other in check, and the only thing we took were epic shots. Yesterday we saw more twists and turns in 8 seconds than most people saw in an entire season. We lost the ball, lost our minds, we lost count countless times in every game. If you could see the ball, that was a slow day. Yesterday, physics didn't apply to us. Gravity wasn't welcome in our box. Armed with just a stick and a ball, we took flight. Yesterday, we were the best we could be. Today is our day.
When it comes to the National Lacrosse League, there's one territory that needs no introduction. Founded in 1991, the Bandits organization made an immediate impact on the league. In the Bandits' first season, they took home the championship, making them the first expansion franchise in league history to win in its first year of operation. The Bandits would go on to continue to make history, putting together a perfect season in year 2, the league's only perfect season to date, en route to a second championship, before making it 3 straight in '94. The groundwork laid by the Bandits of the early 90s developed a vital tool for the team that would go on to fuel the orange, white, and black for years to come. That tool? The fans. Since attendance began to be recorded on NLL.com, the franchise has finished no lower than 5th in the league, and for 5 consecutive seasons, from 2009 to 2013, the Bandits finished with the best attendance record. The atmosphere in Banditland is simply infectious and something you need to see to believe. From unique traditions to signature celebrations, the atmosphere in the Keybank Center alone will have you coming back for more. And the product on the floor has the fans coming back for more. The franchise has featured some of the best in the game, from players to coaches and even equipment staff, and still does today. Welcome to Banditland.
Banditland, get into the action this season as the Buffalo Bandits set out to defend their East Division title. Get your tickets now, starting at just $21. Or purchase your McDonald's Family 4-pack for just $69. Tickets are available now at the Keybank Center box office, online at bandits.com, or by phone at 1-888-467-2273. See you in Banditland.
After starting off the season with back-to-back losses, the Saskatchewan Rush now sit on top of the West Division. We had a chance to speak with Captain Chris Corbeil to find out how the team was able to turn the tides.
It is over! The Saskatchewan Rush, on a hero goal from Jeff Cornwall, have won their second straight Champions Cup.
After winning back-to-back Champions Cups, there were high expectations for the Rush this season. But the team got off to a rough start, dropping back-to-back games.
I think there's a number of factors. I think, we came out of the gates a little too complacent and forgot really what it takes to win in this league. When there's only 8 other teams in the league, there's just so much parity. And I think we started to take for granted, how difficult it is to actually win in this league. So, that was part of the rough start. And then, turning it around was really just about, putting in more consistent of an effort. I remind them how much fun it is to win and how much it sucks to lose. And I mean, it sounds silly, but it really is the truth. We're a group that really likes to have fun, and you have to be when you're traveling around so much with a group of guys and spending so much time and devoting so much of your life to this sport and this game.
It seems the team has been having plenty of fun as of late. Once they got their first win, well, they started to roll.
Line fire, shoot, score! McIntosh shoots it, scores! In there, scores!
Over to Church, shoots and scores.
Matthews in alone, shoots and scores! Ben Reganon's quick stick in the lead!
6 wins in a row, tying the Saskatchewan Rush franchise record. So what has been the key to success for this team that now finds themselves on top of the West Division? Well, it could be the fact that the core group has pretty much stayed the same the last few years.
The continuity we've had over the past 3 or 4 seasons has no doubt contributed to our success, and probably why it was a little surprising to struggle out of the gates this year, because we have so many returning guys.
Or it could be this.
Family on 3, 1, 2, 3, family!
That they don't look at each other as teammates, but rather as family.
We really sort of started the family culture when Derek lost his wife Wendy, and we've sort of embraced that mentality that we're all brothers on this squad, and we go to war for each other.
The Rush have proven they're willing to lay it all on the line for their family, and that they're hoping to keep having fun all the way to another Champions Cup final. For NLL Productions, I'm Mia Gordon.
It's another edition of Versus Durston out. Mitch Jones champ, Dixon in. Here we go. Mitch Jones takes the pass from Anthony Malcolm on the run, behind the back, top corner on Ty Belanger. That one's our champion. Took down Jordan Durston last week in Versus. And now we have a new challenger, and that is Curtis Dixon. Again, Superman, wrap around the net, one hand, diving shot, and scores on Evan Kirk. He actually looks like Superman here. Insane. So fans, do you have Mitch Jones or do you have Dixon? Head to Twitter now. You got to cast your vote, ladies and gentlemen. Time for Box Bosses, Mia. It's the little Box Boss jingle that we've come up with this season, so it's going to be ringing in my head for a little bit. But yeah, time now for Box Bosses. I get to pick 3 players that really stepped up to the plate, had big weeks for their team, contributed to their team's success. And I have to start in Rochester with the rookie Kyle Jackson. The second straight week that Jackson has led the way for the Nighthawks in terms of scoring. This rookie is making a serious case right now for the Rookie of the Year as he just keeps getting better and puts up some clutch goals. The development of this guy is important as he's going to be a huge part of this Nighthawks future. At number 2, I've got Wesley Berg from the Calgary Roughnecks, who had a huge night against the New England Black Wolves on Saturday. Berg stepped up with some beast mode lacrosse. He had a career best 9-point night, which included 5 goals, and he had 14 shots on goal overall. Certainly a nice bounce back effort from both he and the Roughnecks. And at number 1, from the Colorado Mammoth, I have Jeremy Noble. Noble stepped up with a big 7-point night against the Rush. He scored himself a natural hat trick in the second quarter and added another marker on the power play in the fourth to help boost the Mammoth to a 14-11 win over the Rush. He's a player that is very, very important to this Mammoth offense, and we've seen what this team is like without him in the lineup, but he makes them so much more powerful. And now, Mia, I turn it over to you, of course, for the String King Unstrung Hero of the Week, a player who may not have chipped in on the score sheet, but contributed to his team's successes in some other ways. And let me guess, who have you got? Is it Dylan Ward?
Tyson, you're reading my mind here. You're focusing on Colorado's offense. I'm going to give it to the defense, and yes, I am giving it to Dylan Ward this week. What a performance for him. 46 saves in the Mammoths' big win over the Saskatchewan Rush. 57 shots on net. In fact, in the fourth quarter alone, he had to save 17 shots. Now, this 8th win of the season is a career record for Dylan Ward. He's been so instrumental in helping the Mammoth to the record that they've had. And right now, he actually sits with the best save percentage in the league. So that is why Dylan Ward is my unstrung hero of the week.
The only goaltender in the league currently with a save percentage above 800. And I don't know if fans knew what I was doing there. I kind of looked like a bit of a broken down robot, but it was to kind of mimic all of the acrobatic saves that Ward had in that game. Wow, the fourth quarter, like 3 in a row that he stops against this Rush team who are so deadly on offense. He was all kinds of crazy saves, like highlight reel save after highlight reel save. Very impressed with that performance. And now, Mia, I turn it over to you, of course, for the String King Unstrung Hero of the Week, a player who may not have chipped in on the score sheet, but contributed to his team's successes in some other ways. And let me guess, who have you got? Is it Dylan Ward?
Tyson, you're reading my mind here. You're focusing on Colorado's offense. I'm going to give it to the defense, and yes, I am giving it to Dylan Ward this week. What a performance for him. 46 saves in the Mammoths' big win over the Saskatchewan Rush. 57 shots on net. In fact, in the fourth quarter alone, he had to save 17 shots. Now, this 8th win of the season is a career record for Dylan Ward. He's been so instrumental in helping the Mammoth to the record that they've had. And right now, he actually sits with the best save percentage in the league. So that is why Dylan Ward is my unstrung hero of the week.
The only goaltender in the league currently with a save percentage above 800. And I don't know if fans knew what I was doing there. Kind of looked like a bit of a broken down robot, but it was to kind of mimic all of the acrobatic saves that Ward had in that game. Wow, the fourth quarter, like 3 in a row that he stops against this Rush team who are so deadly on offense. He was all kinds of crazy saves, like highlight reel save after highlight reel save. Very impressed with that performance. And now,
welcome lacrosse fans, Tyson Geika of NLL Productions here with you right now, and I'm joined by Shay Hewen, CEO and founder of the U-Hawk Camera. We have some exciting news for you today. The NLL has officially partnered with the U-Hawk Camera, the new official action camera of the National Lacrosse League. Shay, an exciting moment, for both parties here.
Yeah, it's an incredible day. It's a big step and a big moment in the history of sports, and for the National Lacrosse League to be the first league to step up and bring actual player point of view, video footage to fans at home in the actual real raw competition in the season. It's a monumental day, and we're very excited to be the official camera provider to be a part of that.
Well, the fans are trying to get the Bandits back into this game by Turning on the noise meter here at KeyBank Center, and we're just about ready to go over the second half of play. Randy, numbers from the first half.
Yeah, the Rush are out shooting the Buffalo Bandits 34-26. Grocio 24 saves, along with Cosmo. That's a combined 24 saves. Aaron Bold 20 saves. The Bandits out loose balling the Rush 53-43. Both teams are perfect on the power play. The Rush 2 for 2, and the Bandits 1 for 1. And Timmy Edwards 11 for 17 on the faceoffs.
And he won the faceoff to open up the second half of play. However, the Rush battling for the ball, coming up with it, swatted away by Buffalo, and here come the Bandits with Alexander Quito Hill. 10-6 Rush in the early goings of the third quarter of play. Again, great to have you with us tonight on Twitter and NLLTV.com and on the radio. Here's Jones with a shot. Bold got a piece of that one. Jones getting his own rebound, digging it out of the near corner. One-handing the shot over to Alexander Quito Hill, who makes a shoveling move out of Pat Saunders. To Mitch Jones, near side, deking into traffic, far side pass over to Smith with a shot that hit the high netting.
I think that one went off of Chris Corbeil's leg, the captain of the Rush. Pretty impressive with the Rush defense. That's probably about the 6th or 7th shot that they've blocked trying to get to Aaron Bold. They're standing in the shooting lanes, Johnny.
There's a shot that goes wide, cleared back out, and picked up by Buffalo. 15 to shoot on the shot clock. That's off the stick of Quito Hill. And over the line is a deking Dane Smith. Smith trying to get a shot away, however, an illegal pick. And push, a technical foul, will give the ball back to the Rush. One of the things, if you're new to this game, watching on Twitter this evening, yes, there are some penalties called just like basketball, technical fouls, and they'll call them possession changes, which you just saw. And now the Rush working with the attack down in the offensive zone. Plenty of time left on the shot clock. Billy D. Smith after Church. He eludes the check, but then will take a swat from another Buffalo defender of Dave Brock outside the line. One to shoot, right to the doorstep in desperation, and DeRusio, who remains between the pipes here in the second half of play, makes the save, and the Bandits started up at it midfield. Dane Smith with 2 goals tonight. Ryan Benesh far side over to Craig England with a low drive. Save Bold, rebound Buffalo. Blaze Reardon down into the corner to Ryan Benesh, who scoots back out. Far side pass over to Smith with a shot. That goes high and wide and hits the high netting and will afford the Rush to start it up out at midfield. End of the line is Nick Billick. Leaves it right of the restraining line over to McIntosh with 2 tonight. Ben McIntosh, first overall pick back in 13. Far side pass. Screened it from Matthews. Back to McIntosh into the slot area. Buffalo's defense swatting the ball, and it's picked up by Andrew Watt. And starting it up with a 3-on-2 for the Bandits. In over the line they go. Back over to Watt. Shooting it. Scores.
Oh, and that's the Buffalo Bandit transition we love, Johnny, and the fans here at the KeyBank Center loving it too. Andrew Watt collecting the GB. They go down on a quick 3-on-2. He gives it up to Brunel. It's a give and go. Aaron Bold falling to the ground. Watt going up over top, off the pipe and in. And the Bandits down by 3.
How about that feather pass by Kevin Brunel, setting it up over to Andrew Watt with his 3rd of the season. And the 9th-year pro finding net and getting Buffalo back into this game. Now 10-7 Rush. And like you say, Randy, you'll take it from anybody. And it's just got to go through the roster right at the moment to get everybody on the scoreboard. But I think they got to start shooting more.
Yeah, absolutely. But an inadvertent foul right there. The ball goes over and back. Unforced error by the Bandits.
Trying to set up a hot stick over to John LaFontaine in that rush on transition. Matthews out there, leaves it in the traffic area. Buffalo picking it up, and it's Mitch Desnew starting it up for Buffalo. 10-7 Rush here in the third quarter of play. In over the line is Desnew. Looking, shooting, as any good defenseman would do. Got wrapped up into traffic, and Nick Weiss is there and leaves it back over to Ryan Benesh. 13 to shoot. Running is Reardon. Now to Stainhouse. England completes the change. Here's Dane Smith. Scores! Buffalo! The Great Dane.
Yeah, the Bandits on fire. That's the hat trick for the Great Dane. Utilizes a pick by Craig England. He's just doing some dirty work. He slips up underneath and goes low to the far side on Aaron Bowles. Looks like he got a little nicked up after this shot. But nonetheless, that's in the net, and the Bandits are down by 2. Got the momentum here, Johnny.
Well, just like at the start of tonight's game where the Bandits jumped out to a 2-0 lead, they've done the same thing here in the second half of play by going on a 2-goal run and trying to make up a 10-6 halftime Rush lead. And here come the Rush right from the draw, getting the shot away. DeRusio got a piece of that one. It'll be Buffalo's ball from the far corner. Kevin Brunel, who assisted on one of the goals here in the second half, leaving it to Mitch Jones. Now to Saunders with a shot. Bold with the save. Got it wrapped up into his pads. And there to pick it up is Kyle Rubisch. 26 total caused turnovers coming into this evening's game for Rubisch. Deep into the corner. Now to the far side. In over the line goes Ryan Keenan. Far side shot. Jones scores. What a laser by the Canisius College standout, Adam Jones. And there's a hat trick for your former player.
That's the hat trick for Jonesy. Jonesy sets himself in the far corner, utilizes 2 screens. One by Keenan, the next by Mark Matthews. The rotation isn't there. He goes high to low to the far side. Just picking the far corner on DeRusio and stopping the bleeding for the Saskatchewan Rush.
So the 2012 Rookie of the Year, Adam Jones, with the hat trick, his 17th of the season. On fire here in Buffalo. Played his college lacrosse right up the street with Randy Mearns as the head coach. Successful seasons in Colorado on the trade now with Saskatchewan over the summertime. Jeff Cornwall, who we mentioned his name at the opening of tonight's broadcast, the one who scored the game-winning goal in June, give the Rush the 2-0 margin in the NLL finals. Deep from the far corner, triggering Jones again with a shot, saved DeRusio. Again, if you joined us late into the game, Anthony Cosmo playing 9 minutes and 33 seconds. DeRusio coming in relief. And now here in the second half, the Bandits trying to get back into this game, down 11-8. Alexander Keto Hill back over to Stainhouse, shooting it, and Bolt comes up with a save. The rebound is John LaFontaine. Pressure on by Buffalo, trying to do a little forechecking. But now the ball picked up by the Rush. And LaFontaine from the restraining line leaves it down to the near Buffalo corner. Rush leading it 11-8 with 9 minutes and 45 seconds left to play, third quarter. Twirling is Curtis Knight. Top of the slot is Church. Far side pass Matthews. Trying to set up a running Ryan Keenan. Rebound picked up by the Rush with 5 seconds left on the shot clock. They'll get the ball back when we come back. 9:32 left to play, quarter number 3. Rush 11. Bandits 8. This is Bandits Lacrosse.
Tyson, I don't know about you, but even though 2017 isn't over, I'm already excited for the 2018 NLL season.
And I think that's because the 2017 season has been so exciting. There's been so many games that have been decided by just one single goal. Lots of games going to overtime. Some highlight reel plays on any given night. Games you just don't want to miss.
It has been action-packed for sure. And fans, if you're like me and already counting down the days until 2018 NLL season, well, we have some news for you. You can renew and subscribe to NLLTV.com today for the 2018 season. And if you do it now, you're going to get a discount on your subscription.
Also, a chance to win a pair of tickets to the 2017 Champions Cup final. Lots on the line.
Also, you can win a meet and greet with your favorite player or the commissioner himself. There are so many incredible prizes if you renew today, so don't miss out on this opportunity.
April 22nd, when it is Tucker Out Lymphoma Night against the Georgia Swarm. 7:30 is the face-off time. For tickets and more information, you can visit bandits.com. John Gertler, Randy Mearns with you this evening. Scott Fleetwood is our director. Joe DiBiase is our producer. And Barry McClellan with our producing at the National Lacrosse League Television and along with Twitter. Great to have you with us tonight as well. 280 million users worldwide, 62 million here in the U.S. and Canada. It's the best and fastest place to see what's happening anywhere, and it's available in 40 languages. And hope you're enjoying this game tonight here in Buffalo with the Rush leading at 11-8. They've got the ball outside the line, and now down to the far side over to Mark Matthews, who's deking away from Kevin Brunell, putting pressure onto him. Matthews leaving it back out in front, intended for McIntosh. The loose ball picked up by Andrew Watt, scoring here in the second half of play. Mitch DeSnew hampered by in over the line, but DeSnew hangs on. Finds Reardon. Now to Steve Priolo. Looking to change, getting the complete. There's Reardon with a shot straight in. Save bold. Rebound picked up by the Rush. And all alone at middle, they bring it back out to midfield. Shots on goal 40-33 favoring the Rush. They've got the lead 11-8. There's a shot straight on Deruscio making the save. And the big fish goes with the outlet over to Nick Weiss, who starts it up for the Bandits. Bandits opening up a 2-0 lead here in this game, only to see the Rush go on a 4-goal run. And they've held on to a 10-6 lead at halftime. Bandits coming back with 2 goals. Only to see that run extinguished by former Canisius college standout Adam Jones, getting a hat trick so far in the game. In over the line. From the top of the slot now, McIntosh. Trying to set up the play over to Matthew Dinsdale. Can't do it. Here's Curtis Knight from the left point. Flipping it back over to Dinsdale with a shot left side of the Buffalo net. And the Bandits have it. Here they come back out at midfield. Starting it up strong. In over the line. It's Brunell. Leaving it back over to Keto Hill. He couldn't get the shot away. Triple teamed on the play. And the loose ball picked up by Jeremy Thompson. Coming into this evening's game, 54%. How about that play by the Bandits? And Mitch Jones gets a feed pass. Trying to make the laser over to Keto Hill, which he does. And Keto Hill's shot goes wide.
Great second and third effort by the Buffalo Bandit transition team. Had a couple of quick opportunities, didn't work out. And a good chase on Jeremy Thompson. Great in the next transition. Keto Hill just missing.
Robert Church scoots to the top of the slot, deking. More work, goes to the far side, shot straight on. Deruscio making the save. And he'll leave it down on the turf and picked up by David Brock, who pushes the ball for the Bandits back out to midfield. Rush leading at 11-8 here in the third quarter, with 7 minutes and 14 seconds remaining. A left wing pass, Craig Illigu finding an opening, Mark Stainhouse. In over the line now to Keto Hill, back to Stainhouse. Right wing pass over to Ryan Benesh. Benesh out in front. Couldn't get the shot away. Tried to feed it back over in front to Reardon, but couldn't do it. And now it's picked up by Jeff Cornwell back out at middle. 42-33 in shots Rush. They've got the lead, 11-8. In over the line as Ben McIntosh eyes it from the left point. Top of the slot pass over to Church, far side to Matthews, back over to McIntosh. McIntosh to Matthews, far corner in the Buffalo zone, scoots back out to the middle, back over to McIntosh with the shot, shoulder save, Deruscio. Rebound picked up by Tim Edwards, and he'll make a pass over to Andrew Watt.
I've noticed here, Johnny, it doesn't look like Dane Smith is on the bench. He scored that third goal, the hat trick, looked a little limp as he was going to the bench. I don't know if he got slashed or something up in the shoulder. We'll have to check that out, but I haven't seen him on the bench over the last 5 minutes.
Hang on here. We've got a stoppage in play, and looks like a couple will cool off for 2 going to the penalty box with 6:07 remaining. 11-8 Rush. And again, Randy Cruz perused that bench over at Buffalo, and probably one of the reasons why we're seeing more playing time with 66 Alexander Keto Hill.
Yeah, he's going to be the righty that's probably going to filter into that offensive set. And as we see the, there's Dane. He's just coming back there from the locker room.
For the Rush,
Richie Kilgore, the defensive coordinator, having a few short moments with Smith, and now we'll check in over with John Tavares, too, watching the moves of Dane Smith. But let's watch the moves of the Bandits down to the Rush zone. Keto Hill, an errant pass intended for Jones. Hill making up for his own mistake, hangs onto the ball, scooting behind the rush net, reversing position, and now deking back. Trying to get in front, takes the low shot, score!
Oh, the refs call it no goal. He's right on the doorstep. We'll see if there's a challenge flag here, Johnny. The ball has to cross the complete line.
Oh, it's a close one, and Boulder's right there. That angle point that we're seeing from the replay. And we'll see if the ball is going to be held up, and just an off-ball action as well. Looks like we're going to have another penalty. It's going to be a double penalty. Adrian Saraketti going to the penalty box, as is Keto Hill.
Yeah, they're both going to serve two for a rough. We'll get a good look-see here on the replay up on the big screen. The onside officials right on the doorstep. He's got a real good look at the ball as it starts to trickle. And he was very decisive that it was no goal.
Just very close from, it's got to cross in its entirety. So we're back to action down on the turf. More coincidental penalties being assessed on. So we've got 2 Bandits in the penalty box and 2 Rush in the penalty box as well. Bouncing ball. Big Fish making a shoulder save. The rebound, Nick Weiss from behind the Buffalo net. And hang on here. In and out of the crease area, and it'll be a technical foul. Possession. Rush. They lead it 11-8 here with 5:09 remaining in the third quarter of play. Left wing pass. Dinsdale with a shot. That's blocked by Buffalo. Rebound. That's picked up by Dinsdale as well. And a penalty coming up against Buffalo as the ball is cleared back out to midfield. Save the over and back chart. So the extra attacker is out now for the Rush. Ben McIntosh at left. Top of the slot is Matthews. Scores.
And that's the first goal for Mark Matthews in tonight's game. It's kind of a high to low twister. Had a little bit of English on it. And to the far side of DeRosio. That'll cancel the penalty. I believe it was originally going to be a penalty on Billy D. Smith for either interference or slash. Needless to say, they pull the goalie, Bowl comes out, they go 6-on-5, and Matthews hammers one to the far side of the DeRosio.
27th of the season for Mark Matthews, the Denver University product. 2013 Rookie of the Year and leading the National Lacrosse League in assists. And giving his club a 12-8 lead with 4:39 left to play here in the third quarter. Ball out of the rush zone. Carried out line by Kyle Rubisch, who dishes it off, and Gary Keenan making the changes, putting his offensive torque out there, led by Robert Church, tipping it back over to McIntosh. He finds Curtis Knight, now over to Church to the near side, scooting into traffic. Matthews in position from the corner, back over to Quickstick. Score! Can't beat that one.
Wow, that's just phenomenal ball movement. It's moving quick. And it gets down to Matthews, and Knight just slips the backside in a one-timer as DeRosio's trying to come over. Just a little bit of a touch. DeRosio's got to stretch the leg to get over, and I believe it goes between the pads. And as Buffalo had that momentum, got it within 2, the Rush have answered back with the next 3, and they're up by 5 here,
Two
Johnny.
goals in 30 seconds and leading it now 13-8. 4:12 remaining, quarter 3. This is Bandits Lacrosse.
He's got Digby on the take, scores!
Now back over to Dane Smith with a shot. Hit the goal post inside, he scores!
Afraid you might miss out on the big stories from your favorite team? Well, not to fear, the NLL newsletter is here. All you have to do is subscribe to the new NLL newsletter, and you'll get weekly updates from everything that is happening around the league. What are you waiting for? Subscribe today.
If you're a player looking for a lightweight head that delivers power and control, string up the Under Armour Command Low.
KeyBank Center in downtown Buffalo, where the Rush hold on to a 13-8 lead. Bandits opening up the second half of play with 2 goals to get back into this game, but the Rush have gone back into their tutorial of how to play this indoor game correctly. And Randy, they have been displaying it perfectly tonight in many instances.
Yeah, they certainly have. You know, they've been always able to answer the call. Buffalo again got off to that great start in the third quarter, just like they did in the first quarter. The Rush kind of settled a little down on defense, created a couple of transition markers, and stopped the bleeding, and ended up going back up by 5.
Continuing in the stoppage and play here in Buffalo at the KeyBank Center, we can tell you this, that this copyright telecast of the National Lacrosse League Incorporated may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the National Lacrosse League.
It just feels as you're kind of watching where that 5-on-5 offense, you know, we get off to that good start, we get some transition, the ball's flowing, and then it just kind of feels like, well, now all of a sudden we're trying to get too close to the net, as John Tavares was saying in the pregame. You know, sometimes you got to shoot from outside. You know, it just kind of feels everything's just trying to get jammed up inside, and then all of a sudden you have some errant passes, and then, you know, the Rush are able to get the ball back on offense, and with their firepower, they just finding the number on DeRuscio the last 3 shots.
We had mentioned tonight this is a Twitter game of the week in the National Lacrosse League, and this platform being used 24 hours a day, and many of the teams in the NLL just transmitting as much information as they can. Sometimes you read from the players who have their own Twitter accounts as well, and Dane Smith, who is a friend of Chris Hogan, who is a wide receiver for the New England Patriots, a lacrosse player in college at Penn State, he said that he learned the speed through his game of lacrosse in order for him to become a great wide receiver. But he said the greatest pleasure in life is doing what people say you cannot do. And David Brock has tackled on the 5-yard line, and looks like it's going to be a first down for Buffalo.
Yeah, it certainly is. Buffalo going to go on their second power play of the evening. Off the face-off, Brock stricken right down in a desperation trip by the Rush.
So back on the power play, goal the Bandits.
Yeah, they're 1 for 1 in their only encounter on the power play. That goal coming from Ryan Benesh off a feed from Dane Smith.
Again, the penalty kill for the Rush coming into this evening's game. 68 times shorthanded, 37 goals against, 46%. Colorado went 5 for 9 against the Rush, and or check that, Calgary went 5 for 9, and Colorado went 6 for 9. Bandits, Ryan Benesh back over to Dane Smith, feeding it back behind the net to Jones, out in front to Craig England, couldn't get the shot away, and the captain for the Rush, Chris Corbeil, comes up with the ball and pushes it back out to midfield. There is big Kyle Rubisch. Hang on, 8-second clock violation against the Rush, and Buffalo right back to work over to Craig England. Shooting, scores!
Oh, they needed that in a big way. A good ride by the Buffalo Bandit power play. Rubisch can't get the ball over the 8-second line. That just creates a 2-on-1 going back the other way. It's Mitch Jones, Craig England. Defensively, they just hang tough. England just comes in and just kind of stretches his arm and just goes sidearm, far side on Aaron Bold. Bringing the Bandits a little bit closer, only down by 4 here, Johnny.
Craig England scoring a goal or more in every one of the games he's played this year for the Bandits. 13-9 Rush, and a power play goal for Buffalo. Oh, the man advantage working quite well for the Bandits. No reason. Number one reason they're number 1 overall in the NLL on that statistic. Here come the Rush. Outside the line is Robert Church. Elects to go over tonight far side, finding it open Matthews from the far Buffalo corner. Taking a couple of swats and finding relief. Back over to Church tonight. Far side pass played against the boards, collected by Matthews. Third quarter action. Feather pass out in front. Dinsdale trying to get a piece of it, but blocked up on a technical foul, and the ball picked up by the Bandits. And in over the line Kevin Brunel leaves it back over to Ryan Benesh. Hampered out by the moving by the rookie Mike Messenger. Benesh hangs on after the retreat from the right point. Trying to get some room to move by a pick set up by Pat Saunders. And Benesh one-hands it for whatever reason, I don't know, as it comes back out at midfield, save the over and back charge. Here's Saunders. What's that pass? That goes into the Rush bench. 46-36 in shots favoring the Rush. They lead it 13-9 here in the third quarter. 2 minutes and 14 seconds remaining. Left wing pass over to Robert Church. Deking his way close to DeRusio. Takes a twirl back over from the left point, looking for relief to the far side. He's got it. Down deep into the corner. Feather pass out in front. That's busted up by the Bandits defense, but retained by McIntosh. No time left on the shot clock, and it's left down there in the corner. And it'll be picked up by Buffalo as Andrew Watt, who scored here in the second half of play, pushes the ball over to Dane Smith, who starts it up for the Bandits. In over the line goes Dane Smith, moving pass back over to Alexander Keto Hill. Picked up over to Mitch Jones. Here's Jones getting in close, trying to get a shot away. Flicks it back over to Smith. Leaves it to Blaze Reardon. His shot is blocked off the shoulder. Bowled and cleared back out. Jeremy Thompson in over the line in Bandit zone. Third quarter action. Rush leading at 13-9. A shot straight on by Thompson. Turned aside by DeRusio. Loose ball picked up by the Bandits. And Tim Edwards being hampered by the continual poking of Curtis Knight. Finally, the Bandits stick it out with 1:02 left to play here in the third quarter. Rush leading at 13-9. And hang on here, we've got a stoppage in play.
Yeah, that's going to be against the captain, Billy D. Smith. I believe he's going to get some form of unsportsmanlike. He was the reason Buffalo had the opportunity in that 50-50 loose ball off the shot by Robert Church. He was in for the loosey. Timmy Edwards was able to grab it. I feel he took a little exception to maybe a hit into the boards and expressing his displeasure to the onside official. Not a timely decision by Billy D. Smith. Rush back up on the power play. They're 2 for 2.
Under a minute to play here in the third quarter. DeRusio making the save after the Rush making a shot. Kevin Brunel starts it out shorthanded. 8 shorthanded goals for Buffalo. Mark Stainhouse is there outside. Shoveling move over to Mitch Jones. Casually in over the line and now sets up, shot down into the near corner. Jones trying to twirl his way back out. Another errant pass by the Bandits. This has been killing him all game long. Quick stick shot by Saunders. Couldn't get the full throttle on that one. Picked up easily by Bold and cleared back out by Kyle Rubisch. 15 seconds left to play here in the third quarter. Rush leading it 13-9. Matthews quarterbacking the power play from the top of the slot. Near side over to Church. Far side pass over to Jones. That's picked up by the Bandits. And with no time left on the clock, quarter number 3 comes to an end. Rush 13, Bandits 9. This is Bandits Lacrosse.
Wait a minute.
with 4:53 left in the fourth quarter of play. And here in Buffalo, we're ready to go for the fourth quarter of play. Draw won by the Bandits. It's intercepted by the Rush and picked up now and started by Adrian Soroketti. Leaving it outside the line as Adam Jones steps out. A hat trick so far in the game for the Canisius College product as Matthews tips it back to the far side, now to Jones, near side. Here's Keenan to Matthews. Back over to Keenan. Far side pass shot on, blocked by Kevin Brunell. Rebound, Ben McIntosh. 5 to shoot. McIntosh with a shot. Save! DeRusio. Loose ball out in front, picked up by the Bandits, and here they come. Back out at midfield. Nick Weiss with a mad dash. Weiss shooting, scores!
Nicky Weiss taking advantage of a slip by Ryan Dilks. It was kind of a one-on-one. Nicky Weiss was just kind of deciding, does he go, does he hold the ball, and all of a sudden, Dilks slips, loses his footing. Weiss straight down to the cage, looks to go far, comes back short side. And a great short-handed marker for the Bandits.
9th short-handed goal of the season for the Bandits. And Nick Weiss with his 2nd goal of the year after spending 9 games on injured reserve. Here come the Bandits again, a twirling Tim Edwards, tipping the ball out to midfield to Desnew, who will allow time for Buffalo's front door to open up, and out running Mark Stainhouse, along with Mitch Jones. Billy D. Smith serving as 2. Fresh over to the bench, and there's a quick stick shot by Saunders, stopped by Bold and cleared back out at midfield. Buffalo's got it. Timmy Edwards, left wing pass over to Dane Smith.
He's got him.
Smith close. There's a shot. Score! Clickety-click for number 66, Alexander Keto Hill. And Buffalo is right back in this game.
Yeah, the Bandits taking advantage of an opportunity, Johnny. The Rush inadvertent pass. They're trying to change from offense or from defense to offense. The Bandits intercept. They go down. Keto Hill just rolls through in front of the cage. Nobody picks him up. He just finds himself bare naked on the backside. Gets the quick little look-see. Little hedge fake goes in between the pads of Aaron Bold. And the Bandits have made another run here, Johnny, down by 2.
12th of the season for Alexander Keto Hill, who just had an assist last week in Rochester. And now the scramble for the ball continues out at midfield. Finally picked up by the Rush, Kyle Rubisch. Rubisch getting it out of his own zone with the left wing pass, and the Rush started out at mid. Now crossing the line, Thompson out in front, score! Rush as Jeremy Thompson found an open Curtis Knight, and they're right back on the scoreboard.
Wow, and the Bandits did not need that. Again, another 50-50 ground ball battle off the face-off. Rubisch ends up coming up with it. And the Rush beat the Bandits down on a quick 4-on-3. It's a 1 pass. And Curtis Knight left all alone on the backside. And goes airborne over the left shoulder of DeRosio to stop the bleeding and put the Rush back up by 3.
Second of the night for Curtis Knight, 12th of the season. Congratulations for Robert Church, his 30th of the season as well in this game, and that means 3 straight 30-goal seasons for Robert Church. 14-11 Rush here in the fourth quarter of play. We've played a couple of minutes. Ball down to the Rush zone. Bandits, 12 seconds left on the shot clock. Faking. Far side is Jones hanging on to that ball, feeding it out in front. Quick stick, score!
Wow. That looks like number 2 for Craig England. He just parks himself. He's camping out. He's right in front of the net. And gets a bullet pass from Jones. And he's going airborne, and he goes back to the short side over the left shoulder of Bold. Great goal by England. Number 2 on the night for England.
Craig England, the big freighter for Buffalo, number 88, getting the Bandits back into this game. Down by 2, 14-12, and plenty of time left on the clock with 12 minutes and 47 seconds remaining. Scramble from the face-off, picked up by the Rush, then popped free. Trying to field it Mike Messenger couldn't do it. Buffalo's got it. Feed pass over to Alexander Quito Hill. Flip pass, tried to feed it over to a running Saunders. Couldn't do it. Priolo is in there to help and comes up with a loose ball. Here come the Bandits back down to the rush zone. As Priolo settles down just outside the line, tipping it back over to Dane Smith. Now to Priolo on the fake ball movement. Trying to get a shot away. Scramble forward continues. Loose ball on the ground. Picked up by the rush. Messenger back over to Chris Corbeil. Shooting save. Darusio. Rebound along the near boards. Now flicked along the end boards to the far side over to Dave Brock. Brock trying to get control of that ball. Still scooting up in the air. Nick Weiss has got it. Powers his way, then loses it. Saves the over and back charge, doing a little skidding on the NLL logo out there. And now settling it down with 18 seconds left on the shot clock. Buffalo down by 2.
Yeah, Buffalo got away with one that last offensive shift. They had too many men on the floor. Dane Smith seen it. He got up over to the bench, which led to that transition breakaway by the rush.
Soroketti with the ball back out at midfield. Hill taking a swipe at him, but managing to get the ball over to the offense. In over the line they go as McIntosh leaves it to the far side, down to the near side intended for Matthews, with the ball is picked up by Kevin Brunell. He twirls along. Here's Brunell twirling from the left point. Doing the right thing, leaving the ball over to Quito Hill, who finds an open Dane Smith. Far side pass, Kevin goes hot stick shot by Saunders. Couldn't make the connection, and the rebound goes to the far corner, and that's picked up by Matthew Dinsdale. Now the rush with the ball. Capturing into the webbing of the stick over the line is Corbeil with a shot. That's blocked by Desnew. Rebound, Rush. 14-12 Rush here with 10 minutes and 37 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter of play. In over the line, Mark Matthews dashing in from right. Looking to feed back, which he does. Nobody's there to make the connection. Rush get it, save the over and back charge. Credit Curtis Knight with that. And a left wing pass to the far side. Deaking, long drive, blocked into traffic again. And that goes off the side of Mitch Desnew, and he has just been battered by balls tonight. End of the line is Steve Priolo. Leaving it over to Stainhouse. Far side pass. There's a drive by Jones. Turn aside. Jones gets his rebound, shoots it, hits the goal post right side of Aaron Bold. And Soroketti is there. Getting it back out to midfield. In over the line. Approaching the line is Jeremy Thompson. And Mark Matthews getting the ball from Thompson. Far side pass. Now outside the line at left. Dinsdale's hitting a nice pick for the far side pass over to Matthews. Matthews now to the far side again. Hits the ground. High side. Rebound picked up by Jones out in front. Give and go shot score. How do you stop that? And Robert Church is all alone.
Yeah, Church was just left inside. The Bandits are complaining. They don't think that this should have been a goal. We'll have to check this. The red flag is out here, Johnny. Regardless, we'll describe the play. Bandits are already heading up the field. Robert Church just parks himself. Quick little look-see, quick little pass. And he makes no mistake. He goes far side on DeRosio. So we'll see what the challenge flag is going to entail here, Johnny. Big call.
Well, Steve Priolo quickly ran over to the Buffalo bench, and while he was going over to the Buffalo bench, he scooped up the hanky and gave it back to Troy Cordingley. And now we've stopped things with 9 minutes and 28 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. 14-12 the score remains, and we'll find out whether the goal is going to be counted. The crew chief tonight, Chris Williams, his associates, Sean Grenier and Kyle Kennery. And they've stopped things here with 9:28 left, fourth quarter. Randy, the score remains 14-12, and they're taking a look at things right now. And the formation called, even as we see it here on the Jumbotron and even looking from the press box location, Who's in the crease, who is in and out of the crease, or what do you think the call is?
Yeah, I'm not really too sure what the challenge is here, John. There was a big loose ball battle. There was an initial shot. The Rush went up into the air to kind of grab the loose ball. All of a sudden, Buffalo started heading up the other way. And then the Rush just had that quick 3-on-2. Robert Church just sitting right in front, buried the ball.
Here's the call. Oh, the shot clock hit 0.
Shot clock violation. That's what I was wondering, because it didn't look like anybody was in the crease. And sometimes it's a game of inches, sometimes it's a game of seconds. That one benefits the Buffalo Bandits. They're still only down by 2.
Yeah, we can see it right now with the big 0 back behind Dave DeRusio. Sigh of relief for the Bandit fans here at the KeyBank Center in downtown Buffalo. Clock ticking with 9 minutes and 21 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Buffalo down by 2 with the ball outside the line. Leaving it over to Mitch Jones. Jones into traffic now to the near side of Deaking Dane Smith. He loses control of the ball, and it's stolen by the Rush. And dashing down the right wing side is Adrian Soroketti. Leaving it to the far side, pass deep into the Buffalo corner, digging it back out. Now to the near side to Ryan Keenan. Keenan over to Jones, Adam Jones. Twiddling with the ball, taking the shot, saved DeRusio. Rebound, Jones along the near boards. Now into the near corner. Feed pass out in front, over to Keenan. Far side pass. Tip deep into the corner. Looking for a shot, electing to go over to Ryan Keenan. Feed pass, give and go shot, saved DeRusio. Read that one perfectly.
Yeah, that was a beautiful save by DeRusio. Had to go from left to right. Got the big right shoulder.
Kevin Burnell getting a high stick off the move of Ryan Keenan. However, caught for the 8-second violation. Buffalo continues with the ball now. Good second and third effort for the Bandits. Top of the slot is Priolo. Now to Banesh. Banesh to Priolo, shooting it, blocked off the side of Ryan Dilks. Rebound, left side of Bold. Bandits getting the rebound with 15 to shoot from behind the net as Weiss diving scores.
Wow. You gotta put that on the highlight film, Johnny. Buffalo almost didn't get a shot on the 4-on-2. They just kind of got disheveled. Weiss picks up the GB, gets up in behind the cage, gives a little in and out move, and then just goes way over top of Aaron Bold. And that one's gonna stand. That's a good goal. There's no challenge flag there. Put that on the highlight reel.
Rush by 1, and it seems to be the players, like the transition side of the fence, are stoking this crowd here at the KeyBank Center. Players like Steve Priolo and Weiss, Andrew Watt scoring in the second half of play. See if the forwards can get some shots straight in on Bold instead of the fancy pass is going on. Hill back over, shot straight on by Dane Smith. Rebound from the far corner is Blaze Reardon. Now to Ryan Banesh, tipping it back to the near side over to Dane Smith. Smith in front, try to feed pass over to Keto Hill. That's smothered by Bold and picked up by the netminder and cleared to the captain, Chris Corbeil. Fourth quarter action, 7 minutes, 22 seconds remaining in regulation. The Rush by 1, 14-13. From the slot, now to the right wing side over to Mark Matthews. Top of the slot to Jones with a shot. Kick save by DeRusio. Jones getting his own rebound. There's a give and go shot. Tic-tac-toe. Matthews scores.
Wow, and just like that, the crowd is back into an even keel. There's a lot of energy here, Johnny. Adam Jones. Jonesy takes a shot, gets his own rebound. Phenomenal vision, kicks the backside. I believe the Curtis Snyder just goes cross crease. DeRusio can't go back and forth quick enough. And Mark Matthews with the second of the night goes back to the short side. Just like
riddle me this, how does Matthews come in like a bookmobile and park himself in front of the Buffalo net with nobody in there to push him out? Well, I mean, he's 6'5", 230 pounds. You'd think somebody would see him from the peripheral.
Yeah, you got to think, but you know what? It was just off of a shot, off of that GB. right? It just so happened Adam Jones got it. Everybody's looking for the GB and just quick ball movement and vision. And with tic-tac-toe, the ball's already in the net before anybody can react.
Rush by 2, but Bandits knocking on the door from behind the net. Over the shoulder pass foiled, intended for England, and now it's picking up by the Rush. In over the line, feed pass out in front, shot saved, DeRusio. Oh no, it rolled across the goal line, and the referee's going to call it. And another transition goal scored by the Rush. Why don't the Bandits take a page out of the Rush of what they're doing and continue scoring transition? Obviously, the forwards not passing the ball correctly.
Yeah, you know, the defensive guys, they got the green lights. You got Cornwell, Corbeil, Sorcetti, they're just going. You know, Derek Keenan's letting them play fast. And as Buffalo's trying to get organized, right? You got your D guys, you got your O guys in for the D. D guys are going in for the O. It's kind of chaotic there for that brief 5 seconds.
56-48 in shots favoring the Rush. They've got a 3-goal lead, 16-13, but here come the Bandits now. Alexander Keto Hill from left. He's got an open lane. Keto Hill now to Jones with a shot. Save bold as he twirls on the ball and makes the outlet pass all the way over to Chris Corbeil out at midfield, and now ready to cross the Buffalo restraining line. Corbeil deep now into the far corner. A nice crisp pass. And the Rush changing up with 6 minutes left to play in regulation. Rush by 3, 16-13. In over the line is Mark Matthews. Matthews twirling. Back over to Adam Jones. Jones to the far side. Knight back out. Now to Matthews. Shooting it. Ruscio got a piece of that one. Rebound. Fielding is Matthews. Now to Jones. Shot wide. Off the end boards and back out to midfield in the break for Buffalo. Carried out by David Brock. Brock scooting in. Hanging onto the ball, shooting, scores.
Wow.
It's as simple as that.
It's as simple as that. Don't be afraid to shoot. Jones just misses to the short side. Buffalo's on the races. It's a 3-on-2. But everything's very, very tight. Brock doesn't really have an option to give it to anybody, then just decides to take care of business himself. He goes high heat over the left shoulder of Bold with a laser. The Bandits back down by 2. They're making a run here, Johnny.
David Brock with his second of the season. 50th shot on goal for Buffalo here in the fourth quarter of play as time ticks down now with 5:23 remaining. Scramble for the ball in front of the Rush bench, trying to kick it along. Push back out. And left for the Buffalo Bandits, and Dane Smith is there. Outside the line, Smith getting everybody into formation. Stainhouse at left from the slot area. Far side pass over to Banesh, shooting it wide. Rebound played along the near board. Smith is there. In traffic, there's a shot by Blaze Reardon. Reardon trying to get his own rebound, misplace it, and it's picked up by the Russian. Here they come, dashing back out at mid. Sorgetti with a shot. Save DeRusio. 4:43 left to play, fourth quarter. 16-14 Rush. Bandits on the run. In over the line. Double shifting is Dane Smith. Smith twirling from the left point. Being hampered by Billick, and the ball intended from behind the net over to Mitch Jones, but it's fielded by Bold.
Yeah, that's a veteran move by Bold. He just read Dane Smith. He was trying to kick it through X, through behind the net. He just stepped in front.
Ryan Keenan is there from the right point. Moves to the top of the slot. Keenan back over to Matthews. Just to the left side of DeRusio. Matthews to Keenan. Shooting and scores.
You gotta watch Mark Matthews here, Johnny. Right? Defensive wise, he's such a presence. You always got to shade to him. You got to shade to him. You got to shade to him. He just kicks it back to Keenan. And it looks like Keenan's going to go short side. He kind of throws a little bit of a twister. DeRusio going one way, but the ball goes the other.
7 assists tonight for Mark Matthews. 9 total points. And the Rush now with a 3-goal lead, 17-14 with 4 minutes left to play here in the regulation. Rush heading home next week for a 3-game homestand. Opening up with Vancouver, New England, and Toronto. Go to saskrush.com for your tickets now. Bandits on the road next week to Calgary. And the loose ball picked up by the Rush. They have command in this game with 3:33 left, leading at 17-14. Cornwall. As Keenan now will leave it out to his forwards to work the clock. Adam Jones with the hat trick, scooting it back over to Church. Far side is McIntosh making the big twirl, finding it open. Jones now to Matthews. Matthews into traffic, shooting it, saved Ruscio. And things have stopped as the ball hit the high netting. 3:10 left, regulation, 17-14 Rush. This is Bandits Lacrosse. With a couple of goals and 3 assists. Mark Steenhouse with no goals but 4 assists. But the Bandits down by 3 with 3 minutes and 10 seconds remaining. 17-14 is the score, and I can give this officially now. A Saskatchewan win tonight here in Buffalo will give them their first clinch of a playoff position. See what they do here on this rush down in the Bandit zone in the closing minutes of this fourth quarter. It's been all rush after the Bandits opening up with a 2-0 lead. And here's one of the reasons why. Adam Jones taking a shot that's blocked into traffic. Rebound is Mark Matthews. In and out of the lane he goes. Leaves it now to the left point side as McIntosh got a shot away, and Buffalo starts it up with Nick Weiss signaling over to Dave DeRuscio, who runs over to the Buffalo bench, and the 6th attacker is out. Steenhouse now back over to Ryan Benesh, looking as time ticks down. Steenhouse back to Benesh, shooting it, save, bold rebound Buffalo. Dane Smith trying to get a shot down over to Jones, couldn't do it. Scramble for the ball, finding Buffalo coming back up with it, or do they? Stopped by Benesh. Left wing pass over to Mark Steenhouse. 2:10 left to play. Top of the slot is Smith. Far side pass over to Benesh. There's a quick stick shot by Jones, goes wide. Rebound picked up by Keto Hill. Back over to Jones, shooting it, save, bold, and he smothers it up with the webbing of his stick. And with 1:56 left to play into the fourth quarter, the Rush with a 3-goal lead, 17-14, started up and getting it right back down into Bandit territory. Keenan leaving it to the far side. And Derek Keenan mentioning at the start of tonight's game, so what concerns you the most? And he said 92. Speaking for Dane Smith. There's a penalty coming up against Buffalo, and it could go against Nick Weiss, hitting from behind. Or Mitch DeSnoo, who is one of the most penalized players in the NLL, just for minors, that is. And now the referee's having discussions with 1:25 left to play here in this fourth quarter. Some pushing and shoving erupting just at the restraining line of the Buffalo zone. And that's busted up. Now Nick Billick and Steve Priolo having a few words together. And the officials separating everybody, and Desnew, I guess, will get the escort over to the penalty box, or will it be Nick Weiss? I think it's Desnew. 61-54 in shots favoring the Rush. Again, Buffalo at the start of the game jumping out to a 2-0 lead. Rush jumped right back with a 4-goal run. And I believe Desnew will be tossed out of the game. No sense to serve the two from there.
Well, we'll see. It was Weiss and Desnew both on the boards. Robert Church, there was a little shove from behind. The referee's arms went immediately up, so you knew that there was going to be a penalty. 1:25 left here in the fourth quarter. It basically almost seals the deal here for the Rush, Johnny.
And number 20, Big Weiss, 5-minute major for boarding. Big Weiss, 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5-minute major for boarding on Weiss. So the Rush will be on the power play for the remainder of the game here, Johnny. This is going to be just clock management. Shoot with 3 or 4 seconds left in the shot clock. Play some good shadow defense. Do it one more time, and this is going to be all she wrote.
So the Rush, the first team in the NLL to qualify for the 2017 playoffs. A fine performance tonight here in Buffalo. And with 1:05 remaining, dabbling with the ball from the left point side. Jones is there, but hang on. We've got a stoppage in play. And
yeah, there's going to be 2 penalties here. One, Billy D. Smith. He's going to get a slashing or a roughing call off ball. And I wouldn't be surprised if Brunel goes as well here. Billy D is hot. He is not happy.
.101 left in the regulation time here at the KeyBank Center. The Rush leading at 17-14. More discussions being had with the on-field officials, and Billy D. Smith being directed to the dressing room. And frustrating situation for the Bandits starting to mount. Just could not connect with the forwards in instances of tonight, making the transition, and the forwards setting up. Passing the ball, as you had mentioned at the start of tonight's game, Randy, east to west, north to south, trying to get it, but they just couldn't get the timing straight now with some of those shots. Yes, there were some good goals being scored.
Yeah, Billy D. Smith received a 5-minute high stick, as well as a 10-minute, I believe, expulsion foul. Yeah, but to your point, you know, some of those, sometimes the offense looked great. You know, everybody moving, a lot of flow, the ball moving, you know, in and out of sticks. But it just kind of seemed that there were at times, well, we got to jam the middle. We got to jam the middle. Or, hey, I have a shot, but, oh, that guy on the backside on the diagonal pass is open. And then if you just don't connect with those ones, then typically you just end up not having the ball when you know, at that point you actually had an opportunity to score. So
penalty shot issued and awarded to the Rush. For the major being assessed on to Billy D. Smith. McIntosh misses on that one with 1:01 remaining. Let's see what Buffalo puts back out on the boards on the floor to end this game. Again, the Rush going back home and opening up a 3-game homestand at Saskatchewan Center. Vancouver, New England, and Toronto. If you're watching tonight on Twitter and NLL TV, want to go to the game living in Saskatoon and the surrounding areas, go to saskrush.com. That's SASKRUSH.com. Bandits on the road next week to Calgary. We'll have the game for you on the radio. So what was here tonight in the terms of the crowd of 16,419, many have gone home, and they've done that a little bit earlier to fight the traffic, because the Rush just putting on a display of great offensive movement. Randy, the transition game for the Rush, very impressive, paid off dividends. And And with 18 seconds remaining, let's see if Buffalo can get on the scoreboard. No, as Jeff Cornwall intercepts the ball, and now the Rush with an opportunity in an empty net goal. Will they take it? Add insult to injury? No, they'll do the trio and keep it out with the game-ending 17-14 final. The Rush clinch a playoff position in the 2017 NLL playoffs. Bandits go back to the drawing board, now with a record of 5-8. Post-game coming up after this timeout. This is Bandits Lacrosse.
Hello everyone, Mia Gordon and Tyson Geik here from NLL Productions, and thank you all so much for tuning in to this Twitter game of the week between the Buffalo Bandits and the Saskatchewan Rush.
A great game between these two teams who met in the 2016 Champions Cup final. And fans, if you're enjoying this game, and more specifically the play of the Saskatchewan Rush, you don't have to worry, because you won't have to wait very long to watch them play in the next Twitter game of the week next weekend as they take on the Vancouver Stealth live from one of the loudest arenas in the entire National Lacrosse League.
Yes, Rush Nation will be loud, and you can catch it all live at the NLL Twitter page. All the action underway Saturday, April 8th at 9:30 p.m. Eastern.
Don't miss it, fans.